The next conference will take place in Port Harcourt. But our going to Port Harcourt is on the condition that democratic institutions will be returned and succeed.
I'd like to talk about the MPR National Conference taking place here in Enugu, and also draw awareness to the need for us to stay healthy, to keep fit, to maintain a healthy life, and also find a good work-life balance. Keep fit so that we can always stand out and stand tall. Yes, we hope that Nigerians will be able to be part of the conversation around how to make Nigeria economically strong, and also stand out in Africa and be an economic hub and also an economic giant, so that the people of Nigeria will have a very good life and their welfare and security will be taken care of by the government.
Are we ready to leave now?
So I'm fine.
Let's do a powder maybe for face. Let's do a powder.
Enugu holds a special place in the country's development, playing a significant role in the coal mining industry that once flourished here. The city's legacy of resilience and transformation inspires us as we gather under the theme of this conference, Stand Out, Stand Tall. For Nigerian lawyers and leaders, standing out means pioneering innovative solutions for justice and economic progress. Standing tall means embracing tough choices, enduring their immediate challenges, and trusting in all their ultimate benefits. How can the legal profession stand out in building confidence in our institution? How can we lead national conversation that truly matter? It is for this reason that we are honored to welcome our keynote speaker, Mr. Julius Malema.
Welcome this true son of Africa, this Pan-Africanist, and a man for all seasons, Julius Selo Malema.
This fight also led to the International Criminal Court to issue a warrant of arrest for the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his Minister of Defense for war crimes. This is the power of the legal fraternity in the global fight for the oppressed. However, the ICJ pace is slow and final judgment on charging Israel with genocide has not occurred yet. We must therefore confront the uncomfortable truth that the slow pace of these proceedings is not accidental, but reflects a global legal order designed and maintained under white supremacy. International law is strict and ruthless when prosecuting leaders of the global south, yet hesitant and cautious when dealing with crimes committed by Western powers or their allies. This is hypocrisy we must name without fear. When an African leader is accused, indictments are issued overnight, sanctions are imposed immediately, military interventions justified under the banner of international law. However, when Israel starts children in Gaza or the United States and its allies invade nations and topples governments, the same institutions suddenly discover restraint, complicity, and delay. As the legal fraternity of Africa, you cannot accept this double standard. You must be bold enough to create alternative and fair systems of accountability that do not bend to imperialist interests. If the so-called international community is unwilling to deliver justice in real time, then Africa must advance its own courts, its own tribunals, its own instruments of solidarity and protection. Just as we built liberation movements when colonialism denied us freedom, so too must we build new legal institutions when the existing ones fail us.
Yesterday, you told us here during the opening section that the judiciary are receiving their money as at Wednesday. I personally carried out investigation, and one of the judicial officers told me that they are not receiving their money as you claim. And I noticed it that one of your magistrates, who happens to be my friend, used keke to court. They said that they don't have a car. And I was asking, how do they have their money and they don't even have a car? That's not me, sir. They are received at home in Enugu State. And from Owerri now, nobody is here. And the essence of that is injustice being suffered by the people of Southeast. So you are doing well. You are doing well. I can give it to you. Please, I want you to intensify effort. Let them know coming to the list.
I'm a leader of standalone judiciary. I want to know, there are some governments that build houses for judges, buy cars for judges. Out of they take a little of what belongs to them and do all of these things for them. So I want you to tell your colleagues what's the extent of financial autonomy of the Enugu State judiciary. Thank you.
I'm a senior advocate of Nigeria. Just one little question. The governor. I come to Enugu very often, so I'm not a stranger at all to Enugu. But it will be difficult for me to deny that I have not seen some ground-breaking changes. To do that will even be sinful. I don't want to be a sinner. Now, the question I want to ask, based on this theme of transformational leadership, a theme I have written extensively on, how are you able, or have you been able, in a highly politicized environment, an environment that is shark infested by political buccaneers, in an environment where there is more politicking than governance, how have you been able to navigate through like Mongopa, who we are told discovered the river Niger at Kainji, even though it let the people there drink the water? How have you been able to?
Start with the first speaker. The first is on the issue of sit at home. When we came into government from 2 years ago, the situation we met on ground was one where everybody, whether you wanted or not,
you were compelled to sit at home. And if you did not, it means that you're going to have a violent attack either on your property or on yourself. So that was the situation with Enugu. But I can tell you today, even in the Obete, you just made reference to, those who want to come to work, who want to trade on Monday, trade there in peace and in safety. And of course, you're a lawyer. You're not going to compel somebody who, due to his own, some political undertone or his political leaning, decides to stay at home. It is not my job to compel that person to come to work. But I can assure you for free that if you do want to come to work on Sunday and operate in a safe and secure environment, you are free to do so, and it is happening everywhere in Enugu. And today is Monday. We don't need to, you can just do your survey and do your assessment. That's on that. For us, with the judiciary, given our background, we take the judiciary very seriously. Okay? We respect the autonomy of the judiciary. And everything that we do with the judiciary, we go through the budgetary process. And once those items are captured in our budget, we implement them to the latter. They actually get their funds from the state consolidated revenue funds. And that's what happens here. Okay, and they determine what they have budgeted. So if indeed there is issue of vehicles, they need to, of course, by now we have started the budget review committee is already set up. And the cost circulars have all gone out. So it's expected that all the various ministries, all the different arms of government will be able to bring in their budget, and it will be debated. Once those items are captured in the budget, they are then implemented from a frontline revenue position. And I think that addresses that. The next question was on, so I think he talked about the judicial, so we will address that. Now, so I'm sure some of you followed my position about Nnamdi Kanu immediately I was sworn in. I guess my first visit to the president was the discussion on Nnamdi Kanu, and I came out and granted an interview about what I had just discussed with the president. So I still believe that the right thing to do is to release Nnamdi Kanu, and hopefully that will happen soon. Then again, we do not, just as I mentioned in my opening remarks, leadership is not rocket science. First of all, it starts with imagination. And you have to talk about, once you're able to imagine, looking at the trends and looking at the pattern of growth we inherited. If that had been what guided our projections or our vision, then we wouldn't even be where we are today or even getting close. We felt that even though that model of growth may have served us to where we are today, but in order for us to build on what we have, to get to where we want to take our people, where we believe our people ought to be, we needed to think outside what we were already familiar with. So let's take the growth projection. If we look at our trend, our growth rate had been between it oscillated between 2 and 4% in the last 20 years. And we came in and said, we're going to grow the economy sevenfold. We're going to grow it from $4.4 billion to $30 billion. That in itself is disruptive because we're talking about 27% compound annual growth rate. So how do you reconcile that? You could have the critics or the naysayer challenge that but we then immediately added that we're going to deploy disruptive innovation. Disruptive in a positive sense. It means we have to interrogate the status quo. We have to basically do things differently and do a quantum leap, which is largely what we have done because we cannot build the infrastructures we're talking about if we don't have a revenue model that supports that. So we needed to also even disrupt that model. We said we want to achieve a 0% headcount rate in our poverty index. That also meant that we are moving from 58% poverty headcount rate that we inherited to 0%. The trend did not support that. So it also means that we needed to deploy disruptive strategies, to achieve that. And then we want to make Enugu State the preferred destination. Those goals are in themselves intertwined. If you want to grow your economy, you need to be able to, on your own as government, you are unable to achieve that. That means you need to attract private sector. And in order for you to bring in private sector, there are fundamentals that you must have. And which is why a lot of the projects we're executing, they are all connecting the dots towards leading us to that $30 billion economy, towards ensuring that we achieve a 0% headcount. And for us, this is just the beginning because we're just laying the foundation. And there are still a whole lot to come where, $30 billion economy is not a child's play. And we understand what it takes in order to achieve that. That's why we're targeting achieving a 3 million visitors in 2027. And we're not just wishing that into existence. We're also putting in place the structure to attract that number of visitors. And so we're pushing. We haven't done anything crazy in terms of the things we have accomplished. One of the things we're also very excited about is what we're doing in the education sector. I mean, you tend to see the conference center, your site where it's beautiful, it's nice. But the truth is that the real funds we're spending as a state is going to education, it's going to healthcare. 55% of our total budget is dedicated to social services. And that is where we see this poverty thing, how we can lift our people out of the poverty pit. Building 7,000 classrooms within 2 years, not just classrooms, but making sure that each classroom is equipped with modern digital facilities. So it is thinking outside the box. Thank you.
question is Nigeria better today than 2 years ago? So I assume that is for yes. Is Nigeria better today than 2 years ago? Okay, let's go to the second question. Do you think, order please, do you think the nation is on the right track with the policies of the Tinubu government? Okay. All right. My third question, and this is very important, and we need to also think carefully. Is your hope renewed? No, I've not finished the question. Hold on. I've not finished the questions. Hold on is a longer sentence. Is your hope renewed now, or do you think this government is in touch with the present realities of the average nation? For those who agree, say yes. Those who disagree, say no. If you agree that the Minister of the Interior did a fantastic job in defending a very difficult situation of the country, put your hands together for him. If you really think the Minister of the Interior did a very good job, please stand up and clap for him. So it's a unanimous decision. All right, on that note, the yes have it.
And some officers who were involved in the management of the election. Also, 2019, the Chief of Army Staff, General Buratai, woke up one day and said, with the fire from December 1, everybody moving on the road in Nigeria will be subjected to his sight. Call it Operation Security. I went to court. Thou shalt not violate my right to freedom of movement. And I won the case. Please, let me just brush. This is the meat of my submission. Continue. Please, my friend Michael Sekoga has made the point. National security is different from government security. We're one charged with treason by military dictator Babangida, Yane and myself and 3 others. Both of us told the judge Babangida and others are coup plotters. They converted national security. Who are they now to charge us with treason? We're only asking for democracy. These guys are coup plotters. They converted national security. Meanwhile, they were in government. The other point I beg you, and I'm challenging our colleagues, after this meeting I beg you, each branch must meet the and Section 70 of Police Act. What do they say? Not less than a month, once a month, the chief magistrate in every magisterial district shall conduct a visitation to all the police stations. Our judges must also go to the detention centers of the army, the EFCC, ICPC, all of them, and inspect and make reports. Now, Mr. Chairman, and I'm challenging our colleagues. Poverty in our country has been addressed by law. What are we doing about this? Every Nigerian child shall be in school compulsorily.
The truth is, the people of this country, the larger population of the poor, are almost trapped in intractable poverty. Some 133 million are perniciously in that state of poverty. One thing that is fundamental are the choices that we make as a people. And guess what? The lawyers determining the rule of law of this society and what is rewarded, what is punished, are the heart of it. The question that I hope your conference this year would force each of you to ask is, should there be an evaluation of what our profession has done to provide the necessary guardrails for the behavior of our political class? It's got to be that we, as the privileged class, for as long as you're educated, you're a privileged class, we need to understand that this society lays prostrate for the poor right now, some 133 million of them, that a distorted incentive society is making it impossible for them to actually have a quality of life that is close enough to just being normal. And therefore, I am praying that as the legal profession, you can agree that there is serious discussions that are making it difficult for incentives to align in the direction where hard work is rewarded. This country has to go back to rewarding hard work. This idea that politics is the pathway to becoming wealthy is an anomaly. Any profession that is rewarding this kind of prebendalist behavior cannot be a profession that cares about tomorrow. But I do know that I know some of you, and you're some of the best minds that we have in this society. So, stop trading this profession. Stop giving this profession over to a bunch of lousy politicians that want to destroy generations here and unborn. Don't invite me again. Even if you invite me, I may not come again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen.
starting my paper, I would want to. They have to make it available, please. Make it available, please. Let me first make allusion to the paper presented by the CDS, the Chief of Defense Staff, ably represented by the GOC here, when they talked about what they call national security. We have heard that again and again, national security, right from the time of the Lugadian amalgamation of January 1, 1914. January 1, 1914, all the colonial masters, all the military youngsters in this country, up to the present government, they talk about national security. It is a lie. National security. The reality is that their national security is actually government security. It's not security for you and I. Many of you, when you were coming to Enugu on this journey, were you not scared? Were some of you not followed by fully armed personnel? Because there's no national security. It is just government security, security of those in power. Many of us here, we talk about personal or physical rights. That's the one we talk when we are talking about security. There are more important security matters that are known to you. Your emotional security, your mental security, your educational security, your job security, your economic financial security. Many people you see are mad, they are crazy, because Nigeria has happened to them. But you don't know because they have powdered their faces, they have put on their part, they have put their wig, and you think everybody is well. I will sit down, maybe the chairman may give me 1 or 2 minutes later, but as I go to, let me tell you, these rights we are talking about are yours for grasp. They are your right. You have freedom of speech because God gave you your mouth to speak. You have freedom of movement because He gave you your limbs to move. So they are not donated to us. That is why we say they are inalienable. And Fela put it beautifully. Human rights, not my property. Human rights, not my property. You know fit, give me my property. Animal won't give me my property. You cannot give me my property. Oh, human rights, not my property. So therefore, you know fit, give me my property. God bless you all.
you will die. If you lie, you will die. So I've chosen to speak the truth and die peacefully. I want to start by saying that I am personally particularly impressed with the governor of Enugu State. Because if all this is done in 2 years, we would have been very grateful in Kogi State if the boys' quarters of this building, this one outside there, is constructed in my state. I would have been appreciated my governor. So with what we have seen, honestly speaking, I was in a place yesterday called the Cultural Center, and I appreciated that because it's thinking out of the box. Why I am particularly impressed this afternoon is Your Excellency's recruitment process in appointing your political appointees. The intellectual sagacity displayed by your Attorney General and the elegantly attired lady, honestly speaking, gives me hope that if other governors, and even at the national level, we work on recruitment process, because I've interacted with some attorney generals in some states. This means there's no nepotism. You are not giving capital job to pillars. And maybe it's the reason behind the successes we are seeing. So please, Your Excellency, maybe you tell your colleagues in the Nigerian Governors Forum, organize a retreat and teach them how to recruit how to recruit appointees. Square pegs in square holes. Because that is one of our fundamental problems in our state and even at the national level. In the history of this country at the time, a lawyer was the group MD of an NPC. You cannot give carpentry job to tailors. But from their presentation this morning, it shows that your recruitment process is fine. So I encourage those who are discouraged to continue to encourage you, because honestly speaking, I believe that democracy is about development and it's about the people. And from your presentation and what we are saying, that is what is taking place here. Congratulations.
You asking me question, you don't get it first, so it's like you don't know my name, no. Ufeka matendo, eito kwenye boyfriend neto. Na mi seso, siesta avalanche. Because I'm a chief lieutenant. You know see my car, Jaman. You know see the swag, galant. See many they claim my madam, but I don't know these names from my gun. They just want to follow me like that. They know that nobody is my dad. She say why you the flex like you have the dream. They do the hope, they get the dream. See my force to bring me dream. Is this a military legend? I'm a soldier man, I say stand that is. $30 my flipa electric. It's only me, there's no confetti. I will make you run like it's confetti. Show my body so till love berry. I will take you when you're ready. Professor, now I have. I'm a member, I'm a pasha. You my parents get, I dey run me down. You know that I go. Don't be throwing me down. See the gun, where you carry? Come up in general, and I run it down.
I've always wanted to lend a voice. I've always wanted to be a voice for the voiceless, speak for the oppressed, speak to those who murmur. I've become the voice of those who murmur. And the fact of the matter is, what I have been doing on television all my life is setting the agenda, developing topics, talking about it, calling attention to areas of need and want. For law as a profession, it grants you a bigger voice to go to the court, argue your case, and based on the evidence you bring, you create a new and better society. And
Community branch, FCT. I locally commend the governor of Enugu State for them to have been able to put up the fantastic infrastructure, the hall, the Para Event Center, all over the place. And for organizing the kind of sightseeing that we have today too. I commend them for the hospitality, very warm hospitality. I don't think anybody will be complaining that they didn't have a nice time by virtue of the facilities that the Enugu State has been able to put in place. The infrastructure is fantastic. The transport system is very well organized. The security is very assuring. There is no reason to be afraid of anything. Afambo Chief Emeka Okeke, Esimaba branch where the Enugu conference, where Bakaru na ICC, or the even na Funa Bendo Chan, Amarom no dear baby to Africa, Nanibo, Kenerum Governor, Sianu Diane, Rebelline, or Chan.
Samir Mohammed Adam, I'm from Bochi branch. Well, actually, we have seen wonders, we have seen the work of God, and then the way and manner the people, receive us here is quite wonderful. And we have to thank even the executive governor of Enugu State for giving us the opportunity to visit this place for all the things he has been doing for us since we have arrived this beautiful city. Enugu City is one of the most beautiful cities, in fact one of the cleanest cities in the entire country. The city is peaceful, the people are hospitable, and everything in the city looks green and is a serene environment.
My name is Mohammed Musa. I'm from Kaduna branch. The whole conference has been captivating, really. It was much fun today. After we did a small round trip within the city, we were really enjoying ourselves. Before my arrival here, I wouldn't lie to you, I was in doubt when the conference was moved from Rivers to Enugu, because the impression I've always had of Enugu is the insecurity that we have always read about. But when I came to this city, I can see that security was airtight everywhere. And I have not heard of any security challenge since when I arrived. And I've been here for almost 2 weeks now. And looking at the wonderful job of the governor, especially where the main event took place at the ICC Center, it was such a very good infrastructure. from what I have seen, the governor has really done well.